Okay, here we are. Friday. Friday Night Live. It's not really night, it's happy hour. It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock on Friday. Who's with us? Who's starting their weekend off right? Who have we got? Give a few minutes for people to wander in as we get going. Hopefully, people can hear me. Jump in, say hello, introduce yourself, say where you're from. This will be nice and cozy, nice and calm, nice and easy. Oh, hey, Levi. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, hear your face, see your face, read your words. Yowzer. Give a few seconds for people to come in. Weekends do rock. I love them. I love them, I love them, I love them. It's Friday the 13th, people. Whoa, All right, we're going to wait just a little bit longer for people to come on in. Hey, Philip. Yes, you do, Catherine. Go find a cocktail. All these people I already know. I love it. It's so fun. Hey, Carl. Carl! The Walking Dead. Done. It's no more filming in Atlanta. Sad face. Okay, I'm going to give it about one more minute and then we're going to get started on our Friday chat. Talk about a few things relevant to lots of actors, hopefully. Coral! That's right. Good gravy. Hey, Tommy. Hi, Allison. My partner in crime. Tommy, I hope the Atlanta Film Festival went well. Cliff, local hire. I'll see if I can do that for you. We'll talk a little bit about that. Bum, bum. Boom, bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Okay. A few more seconds. And we will get started. People need to make their beverages. We need to make things happen. Goodness gracious. Year number 8, Tommy. Good for you. That's great, man. I love it. The dashboard that you see when you do a live chat is crazy. It tells you how many people and how fast the signal's coming in and all that other stuff. Phew. It's crazy. All right. Now we shall get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live here in Tmfa, Talent Managers for Actors. Thank you for joining us today. We're just going to get going. More people will join us. I hope everybody's ready for a fun weekend. For us in Atlanta, it looks like it's going to be the last cool weekend, mid-70s, before the 90s get here. We're going to discuss a few things today. This chat is going to be recorded and it'll stay here in TMFA, so you can access it again later if you can't join us for the whole thing. Probably chat for 45 minutes to an hour. If there's a question I don't get to that you post, or if I don't see it in the chat, tag me in a comment and I'll try and circle up after the chat, okay? Quick first things first, who am I? In addition to being a moderator here in Talent Managers for Actors for the last several years, I'm a professional actor, teacher, and coach. I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA for the last 19 years and counting, with experience split pretty evenly between the Los Angeles and the Southeastern markets. Content creator, producer of union films and live theater. And I've been really fortunate in my career to work with some really great people like Tom Cruise, Woody Harrelson, Mahershala Ali, Cynthia Erivo, John Berthal, Michelle Monaghan, David Harbour, Sam Worthington, Garrett Dillahunt, Jimmy Smits. Gosh, the list goes on. I'm really, really fortunate. And directors like Clint Eastwood and Rob Reiner and Doug Liman. Most of you may know me more recently as Dr. Midnight on the CW show Stargirl, which is really cool because I play a comic book character that first debuted in 1941. Look, as a teacher, I've been really fortunate to be doing this for a long time, that people continue to trust me. And I have students that are brand new actors all the way up to series regulars. And I work both in a classroom environment in person in Atlanta at Drama Inc. I teach my own classes via Zoom, and I'm really fortunate. I've been an invited guest at the SAG-AFTRA Conservatory in Atlanta, the Arvold Warner Studios in Atlanta, for the Spark program at Get Seen, an invited speaker for DeJuan Johnson's Think Bigger Summit, and a contributor to Bonnie Gillespie's third edition of Self-Management for Actors. So all of that resume stuff to say, I've been around a long time. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've spent so much money doing things that are wrong in this business. And my goal as a teacher is to help actors cut through the noise, save some money, not make mistakes, that sort of thing. So if I can help you in any way, I really want to. Okay? So what we're going to do, we are going to talk a little bit about the topic of SAG-AFTRA, being union in a right-to-work state, and dispel a few myths, because a lot of people don't know. I'm talking veterans, veteran actors, veteran agents, veteran casting directors. A lot of folks in Los Angeles or in New York, they're in union states, and they don't understand how right-to-work actually functions, what it means. For those of us here in the trenches in Atlanta, Georgia is a right-to-work state. It's one of 27 right-to-work states. We need to be self-aware and educate ourselves on this. So I'm going to help you a little bit. So first up, what is the union? The Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, SAG-AFTRA. That is the actors union for on-camera performers. We also have Equity for theater. ACTRA is the Canadian union. And there's a number of different ways that an actor can become eligible to join the union. There's several different ways. We're really going to talk about two ways, okay? But let's talk about all of the ways first before we dive into a couple of the most important ways. The way that you become eligible to join the union is you give proof of employment to having worked on a production covered by a SAG-AFTRA collective bargaining agreement. And that can happen a number of different ways. You could be a background actor working on a union voucher, 3 different days of work, under a SAG-AFTRA collective bargaining agreement production. You can book 1 day of employment in a principal or speaking role. You could work as a recording artist in a SAG-AFTRA covered production. You could also join SAG-AFTRA if you are a paid-up member of an affiliated performers union, such as ACTRA, such as Equity, such as AGMA or AGVA, and you've been a member in good standing for at least a year, and you have been paid once in that year. Okay, it's a whole lot of noise. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 2 main ways people become eligible for the union, to join the union, and it's background and it's principal work, okay? Now, background eligibility only applies in zones where background is covered. LA, New York, Chicago, etc. Background is not covered in a place like Atlanta for film and television. It's only for commercials, okay? Now, if you are in one of those union-covered areas for background, a covered zone, it's called, in Los Angeles, for example, the first 57 extras on a film must get a union voucher. The first 22 extras on a TV show must get a voucher. So if you're a non-union actor working background on a massive movie, and they only have 50 union background people show up that day, but they need 60, the next 10 background who are non-union would get a union voucher, or excuse me, the next 7 of those 10 to get up to 57. The next 7 of those 10 non-union extras would get a union voucher for that day. And then you would need 3 of those union vouchers on 3 different projects to be eligible to join the union. It's pretty confusing. If you live in a place like Atlanta, you don't have to worry about it so much. So the other way that actors can join the union or get eligible to join the union is through principal employment. So if an actor books a principal role on a qualifying, not all projects are qualifying, on a qualifying union production, they'd be eligible. That could be as little as one word on a film or TV show. There are no minimum amount of words or lines of dialogue that you have to say. In commercials, you don't even have to have dialogue. Commercials are pretty tricky because you could be booked as a principal, but you might be in the background. So it looks like your background, but you're not. Or you could be booked as background, but we could recognize you, or you're interacting with a principal, or you're interacting with the product or the brand, and then you could be upgraded to become a principal in that commercial. It's a lot harder in film and TV. You would need to be upgraded by being given a line of dialogue from a director. Okay, so not all productions, not all SAG-AFTRA productions will qualify an actor for union eligibility. Student films will not give you eligibility. A micro-budget agreement will not give you eligibility. A SPA, or what's called short project agreement, will not give you eligibility. A new media agreement and ultra-low budget feature film do not give you eligibility anymore. They used to, they do not anymore. They give you what's called a pathway to join. We'll talk about that. So everything MLB, that's moderate, low budget, and above, does grant an actor a Taft-Hartley. And the Taft-Hartley is the document that says, hey, we looked high and low for union actors who would be good for this role. We couldn't find any union actors, but we found this non-union actor who's really good, and so we would like to give them this role. We recognize that we looked for union actors, couldn't find one. Here's a non-union actor. We're willing to pay a penalty if there's a penalty that happens there. So that's that. Okay. So we're just talking, there's a lot of nuances on when, if you're working background and there's an upgrade on film or TV, there are a number of things that have to happen for that to qualify. Okay. There's a number of things for that to have to qualify. Okay. So we're going to move on a little bit. A couple of people are still giving out outdated information on what makes an actor eligible. And the most common thing that happens is with the new media agreement. It used to be, hey man, just shoot a web series in your basement on the new media agreement and you'll get your eligibility. And yes, it used to work that way up until about 2020. But there's been a change recently whereby the new media agreement no longer issues Taft-Hartley letters. Why? Because the union was creating and introducing and producing thousands of eligibility letters, sending them out to actors, and those actors, almost none of them were joining the union. So it was a lot of labor without a lot of return on investment. Okay, so instead, what the union did was do away with the Taft-Hartley altogether and created what's called a pathway to join. Now, the pathway to join applies on qualifying new media projects, as well as if an actor works at least one day on 3 different ULB, or ultra-low budget projects. These actors won't receive a Taft-Hartley letter. They will not be deemed eligible. You cannot write SAG-AFTRA eligible on your resume. But if you wanted to go ahead and join the union, what you do is you call the union, you provide your proof of employment and pay your initiation fee, and then you can join the union. It's really complicated. I get it. It's a weird one, right? So for those of you who are in that quagmire of doing a lot of background work or doing a lot of student films or low budget things, and you're trying to earn that eligibility, you just have to keep doing it. Okay? Those vouchers will come along. For some people, it might happen in a month. For some people, it might take 5 years. Or you invest in training, you invest in upgrading your materials, you invest in networking with casting directors, and you find a way through auditions to then book a principal job in a qualifying category that will give you your eligibility. Now, depending on whether or not you live in a union state or a right-to-work state, there are some pros and cons to rushing out and getting that eligibility. We're going to pivot now a little bit. We've talked about what the union is, and we've talked about the 2 primary ways to join the union: background union vouchers, principal proof of employment. Let's talk a little bit about right to work and what that means. Because right to work extends far beyond our industry. Right to work exists in all industries where there might be a union. So, in a very simplified way, right to work means relating to or promoting a worker's right not to be required to join a labor union. Again, that's something that exceeds far beyond our industry. Think about the dock workers union, the police union, the teachers union, the auto workers union. It applies to literally any industry that might have the potential presence of a union. So what does that mean for our industry? It means that in a right-to-work state, an actor cannot be forced to join SAG-AFTRA. So if you live in Atlanta, like I do, you can remain a non-union actor forever. And you can have the luxury of working on union and non-union projects forever. You have the ability to reap the benefits of the salary, the protections of union coverage, the residuals, the pension and health contributions, without ever having to join the union, pay union dues, or follow union rules necessarily. Now, just to kind of give you an idea, there are 27 states currently that are right to work. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, and Louisiana. Big areas for film and television production are all right to work states. So that seems like a great thing, right? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's talk about that a little bit more. In right-to-work states, businesses can often weaken the rights of workers, both collectively workers and individual workers, by having non-union work, by creating division between union and non-union labor, and by leaving individual employees to negotiate for themselves. That benefits businesses. In our industry, this means that there is a large percentage of commercials, for example, that are non-union, often with terms like in perpetuity, or maybe they have multiple year buyouts and exclusivity in contracts and conflicts. With union commercials, there are no in perpetuity clauses allowed. No, there are no extended multi-year buyouts at the initiation of a contract. While there are exclusivity or conflict clauses, the actor has to be paid for that privilege, paid for that length of time. Currently, the commercials contract has just been upgraded for 2022, but up to this point, a union commercial, let's say a McDonald's commercial or a Coca-Cola commercial or Ford or Chevy or something like that, they're purchased in 13-week blocks, and an actor has to be paid the privilege for holding that 13 weeks for that product. The company can renew in subsequent 13-week blocks all the way up to 21 months in total. If the product wants to use that commercial and use that actor's likeness beyond 21 months, they have to renegotiate that contract. And the actor and the agent will talk about that and how much more they want to be paid. And obviously, depending on the size of the commercial and depending on where it's going to be broadcast, that could be national, it could be cable, it could be regional, it could be local. And all of those have different price points associated with it. But what you will not see on a union project, you will not see in perpetuity. A brand or a product or a company does not get the privilege of using your likeness forever without paying you for it, okay? All right, so let's move on. Why would anyone join the union in a right-to-work state when they have the benefit of riding both sides of the fence? That's honestly an individual decision for each actor at different points of their career journey. But an actor might choose to join the union because, A, they don't want to do non-union commercials anymore. Maybe they've outgrown the availability of those non-union indie films that are available. They're generally lower budget. They may have no interest in doing industrials, which are typically non-union. They may want to focus, that individual actor may want to focus on elevating their career standing with their reps, with casting directors who know them, and with producers and decision makers. They may also decide internally, philosophically, after reaping the benefits of the union for years, salary, protections, benefits, pension, health, that they've decided, hey, it's time for me to step up and join, to pay dues, and to start contributing to the union that's helped me along the way. So there's a lot of different reasons why an actor might choose to join the union in a right to work state and when they decide to join. Okay. Let me take a quick look in the thread here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Look at some questiones. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Canada. Porus, without knowing if that was a principal contract you were on, if it was a principal contract on that WB show, it's not measured in days. It's measured in contracts. So if you were background, no, you probably won't have been given a union voucher. But if you were given a union voucher, you would need 3 different union vouchers. If you were a principal cast member, you would have been given 1 contract for that episode. That would make you eligible to join the union. Yes, but you're in Canada, and so there's different things available and to think about with ACTRA. I'm not going to touch ACTRA. Okay, let's talk about a few myths and truths about the business and the nuance in there. So there's a myth. You can still do non-union work after you join the union. No, you cannot. That is a myth. You cannot do non-union work after you've joined the union. Once an actor joins the union, they must honor Global Rule 1. And Global Rule 1 states that you will only work on union projects anywhere in the world. Yes, even if your friend makes a web series in their basement that's only going to be put onto YouTube, it must have a union contract, a new media contract in that case. There are a couple of exceptions to that rule, Global Rule 1, okay? I'm not going to spend too much time talking about these because there's a lot of nuance involved. But on industrials, a union member can work on a non-union industrial if the non-union industrial and the production company secure what's called an OPO, a one production only form from SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA will agree to loan that union member to that non-union industrial for that one production only, assuming that production follows a few steps and rules, okay? There are certain reenactment shows that union actors can work on. It varies by show, and you would have to call your local union chapter office, wherever you're located in the country, and say, hi, I'm a SAG-AFTRA member, but show XYZ is a reenactment show. Would I get in trouble, and would I be violating Global Rule 1 if I do this reenactment show? That's a second way. And then a third way, a SAG-AFTRA member can actually do non-union background work in non-covered zones. So a SAG-AFTRA member in Atlanta could do non-union background work on a film or TV show that is union as a non-union extra. They don't get any of the benefits and benefits of being a union member. You can't say, "Hey, I'm at the back of the line. I'm only making $75. That's not fair. I'm a union member." Your union membership ceases to exist at that point because you are signing up for that background work as a non-union member. You won't see that anywhere in print, but if you call your union office in a non-covered background zone, you would be allowed to do that, and they will tell you as such. Okay. Bum. The next one, and it's a similar sounding question as to before. If you live in a right-to-work state and you are a member of SAG-AFTRA, you can do non-union work because a right-to-work says you can't be forced to do union. That's false. Right-to-work says that you cannot be forced to join a union. That's the difference. The right to work legislation says that you cannot be forced to join a union. But once you have committed and joined the union, you must adhere to the union rules. So you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to join SAG-AFTRA in Atlanta today, and then I'm going to do that student film, that no-budget, non-union student film. And then I'm going to do my friend's non-union web series. And then I'm going to do that indie horror film because my friends are making it. No. Well, it's right to work. I can do it. No, you can't. You joined the union. All right, next question, and this is one of my favorite questions, or myths. Joining SAG-AFTRA is really expensive. That one's partially true. It is. The initiation fee at the national level is $3,000. But many local chapters have reduced, they have lower initiation fees. So for example, if you join in Atlanta, you're not paying $3,000. You're paying $1,320 to join the union. Chicago is around $1,800. That's really cool if you are an actor in a market outside the most expensive markets like New York, Los Angeles. And so if you join the union here and you pay $1,320, you're a member in good standing. You're a full union member. And if you continue to book work in the Atlanta market, you're not going to owe any more. Now, if you book a job from Atlanta in Los Angeles, you will have to pay the difference between $1,320 and $3,000 before you can work on that job in Los Angeles. So keep that in mind as you audition and book work outside your home base. That becomes important, okay? Now, a quick note on dues. Up front, there is an initiation fee plus semi-annual dues that are owed. SAG-AFTRA has really great payment plans, and that can help break up the amount owed. So after joining, after you've paid that initiation fee, you will always owe semi-annual dues twice a year. October and April, every year. April, October, you will owe. The minimum amount owed yearly, even if you don't work, will be $227.42 right now. $227.42. So $113.71 due in April and $113.71 due in October. Okay? That will go up based on however much income you have from SAG-AFTRA Productions. So it's what's called base dues. Your base dues every year are $227.42 if you do nothing as an actor. Okay? So if you're a busy working actor, your dues might be $1,000 a year. But if you're a busy actor, you don't really mind so much that very small percentage is going to your dues. Okay? One more myth and truth. Non-union actors are treated worse than union actors. Non-union actors are treated worse than union actors. That's partially true. It's been a long-held belief that non-union background are treated worse than union background in union states, like California. They eat last, they don't always get the same quality food, they might have worse green room conditions or holding room conditions. Yeah, that's kind of true. That happens, okay? In a right-to-work location like we are here in Georgia, here in Atlanta, background is not covered. So there is no delineation. There's not like, well, those people are union background and those people are non-union background. No, everyone is non-union background. So everyone is all treated the same. They're all treated like non-union background, except in commercials here in Atlanta where there is union background coverage. So there will be union background and non-union background. However, in a right-to-work state, for principal performers in film, TV, commercials, everyone is treated the same regardless of that actor's individual union status. No one on set knows if an actor is union or non-union. Everyone is treated like a union performer because everyone is covered by the SAG-AFTRA collective bargaining agreement. Okay? That's a lot. Let me run through. I just want to give a really quick shout out to my partner in crime at Beyond Acting, Allison Hazelden. You see her in the comment thread. She's dropping links, the SAG-AFTRA eligibility checker, and other stuff. So she's helping out. Got a couple of links at the top there for you. Thank you, Allison. Sherry, yes, with tax season, October, the last day to file, you really shouldn't forget. And that's pretty much, I think, why SAG-AFTRA kind of did that with the taxes, with the semi-annual dues to kind of align it with the tax year a little bit. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Atlanta and the Southeastern market. I know so many people in TMFA. We have almost 100,000 members, and they're not all in Atlanta. They're not all in the Southeast. We got folks all over the country and indeed the world. So let's talk a little bit about Atlanta, because so many of you hear about Atlanta. Oh my God, Atlanta's the next Hollywood. Oh, Atlanta's the Hollywood of the South, whatever you're hearing. Atlanta is the hub of the Southeastern market. That is undeniable. New Orleans, Louisiana, and Wilmington, North Carolina are also major markets here in the Southeast. They've experienced great growth in the 2000s and then various setbacks for different governmental and tax and subsidy reasons, but they are still growing markets. So New Orleans, Louisiana, Wilmington, North Carolina, but Atlanta is the hub. It's the hub for casting. It is the hub for studio space and production. It is the hub for the base of operations. That's why Georgia is the #1, sometimes #2, feature film destination in the world and the #3 overall production hub. Why? Well, we've got the busiest airport in the world, #1. We are a midpoint between Europe and California, so personnel can come in, #2. We have tons of studio space. Far more studio space than Hollywood. We have a variety of topographical advantages. We've got mountains, we've got ocean, we've got rivers, we've got forests, we got all kinds of stuff, all within a driving distance. We have a large and diverse labor pool. And the most important thing, let's not mince words, we have an aggressive tax subsidy, a tax incentive that gives productions up to 30% back on their dollar spend. How has that tax subsidy affected the growth of the business here? Okay. What I will give you is, back in 2008, when the tax subsidy started, there were 8 franchised agencies in Atlanta. 8. Atlanta's actually had a pretty good entertainment business for decades. It was a cottage industry for film, a cottage industry for TV, but it was a very, very busy commercial market and industrial market in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and it remains so. But the tax subsidy is really what put us on the map. So we've gone from 8 franchised agencies in 2008 to 32 franchised agencies in Georgia today, in Atlanta today, okay? Now, let's be really honest with each other here. Agencies receive upwards of 2,000 to 2,500 or more submissions every single month from actors looking for representation. That's really important when we factor in why an agent is going to stop on your submission, especially if you're not local. There's very little upside or very little incentive for an agent to take a chance on somebody who's flying distance away, from someone who's 5 or 6 hours away, unless you are a proven winner, unless you can make money for that agent. Oh yeah, I can make money for that agent. No. I'm talking about unless you have a proven track record of making money as an actor. Otherwise, there's already someone like you who's already local to this market. That's the reality of it. So your materials need to be top-notch. Your training needs to be top-notch. You need to be investing in training in this market. You need to be investing in networking in this market and connecting with casting directors and agents if you can. What is going to make your submission stand out? Okay? So you must be really realistic with that. Georgia, as we've said, is a right-to-work state, so there absolutely is an ability to come here as a non-union actor and start your career, to gain experience, to do student films, indie films, non-union commercials, non-union films, industrials, but also be submitted for and book union work. then over time you can make the decision on whether or not you want to join the union here. And number two, whether or not you feel that there's a need to move to a larger market like Los Angeles or New York. Everybody has this vision of New York City or Hollywood as a place to go. But I'll be honest, I know a lot more actors who are working a lot more regularly here in the Southeast, number one, and a lot more actors who have no jobs outside the entertainment industry, number two, and actors who own their own homes, number three, in this market. People, it's not just background work. It's not just one or two line co-stars. There are co-stars, there are guest stars, there are recurring co-stars, there are recurring guest stars, there are top of show guest stars, and there are series regulars being cast out of the Southeast, right? A lot of people do not want to talk about that, but it is true. That's a lot. I've talked about a lot in the last 30 minutes or so. So we're going to take a little pivot, see what kind of questions. We have any questions? I'm going to see if I can do this. I want to see if I can put this poll in the... Oh, let's see if we can do that. You guys see that? Just put a poll in the group. Answer the poll, people. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. All right, throw in some questions. If you've got questions, people, do it. Awesome. Yay, I see some people responding to the poll. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. I'm going to throw out a couple more. Let's, oh, I can't do that one. Yes, I can. Here we go. All right, there's another poll. 2 poll questions coming for you. Thank you, Sherry, for answering. I appreciate it. That's really cool. Levi, don't make me come get you. Actually, Levi, okay, everybody, here's a great example. Levi is in the group. He's a working actor in the Atlanta and Southeastern market. He's been in the business for a while. Levi's a great example of someone who does not live in Atlanta. He does not live 20 minutes from where he takes class, 15 minutes from that casting director, 20 minutes from that studio. Levi lives the life he wants to live with his family way out in small town Georgia, because he knows that a lot of what he's doing is self-tape, and if there's a callback or a booking, he's just going to spend some time in the car. So it's not a problem for him to do that. Let's see what we got here. How long do you have to sign up with SAG after working an eligible project? Carl, that's a great question. Once you have your eligibility does not expire forever. No matter where you are, your eligibility is permanent. Okay? Hopefully that helps there. Natalie, cool way of spelling it. Let's see. I received a letter years ago that said I was eligible. I booked a SAG stunt job and recently checked my SAG status. Now, if you have that letter, you're eligible. Eligibility does not expire. Just call. You can email or call the union and just follow up with them. It could just be an oversight, but if you've already received that eligibility letter, it does not go away. Oh, see, look, hour and a half away, right? And you've got trees and you've got deer in your backyard and you get to see your kids wrestle and play football and do all the good stuff. Lamine, not from the United States. Can I get an agent from there? Honestly, no. Not where you're at right now. I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to blow smoke up your butt. What you need to do is what I call bloom where you're planted. Take classes at your local college. Take classes at an acting studio. Do community theater. Become known where you are. Because it's going to involve immigration lawyers, visas, and there's already someone like you in the United States where productions are not going to have to jump through those hoops. So do all the things that you can do to make a compelling argument on why somebody should be interested in signing you. Figure out a way to solve the visa issue. But if you're unknown, you're not going to get an approved visa. Okay. All right, let's do a quick look at the polls here. So wow, yeah, 90% of you have thought about moving to Atlanta. That's kind of crazy. I love that. And let's see. And let me see what we've got here. And about 64% of you who responded are non-union. That's cool. I love that. Awesome. All right, so let's talk about a couple other things. One of the things that I do as a teacher, as a coach, my partner in crime, Allison, who's been that wonderful resource today, putting those links in the chat here. Allison and I created a company in 2019 called Beyond Acting, and we focus on everything that you didn't learn in your acting class. And we have 2 courses specifically that can help you with what we're discussing today. And Allison has the links already in the chat for you. The first one, and it's insane how popular this course is, it's the 10 steps to break into the Atlanta and Southeastern market. I've done a live chat in TMFA before last year about this topic. You can search for it. Just type in my name and Atlanta, and I'm sure the chat will come up. This particular course, all of our courses are online, virtual, self-guided. You can take all the time you need to watch them. You have lifetime access. This particular course about the 10 steps to break into the Atlanta and Southeastern market has over 115 downloadable links and resources. Includes everything from where in town you might want to live, where the studios are located, where the acting studios are located, the taping studios, who the primary agencies and casting directors are, and includes strategies on how to network and connect with all of those people. That course will help you whether you're already in Atlanta in the Southeast or if you're planning on making a move, or if you just want to learn about the market. It's invaluable. It's one of our most popular programs. And then the second one is my favorite course that we have, regardless of where you are at in your career and where you are at geographically. It's called the Actors on Set Survival and Thrival Guide. Doesn't it feel like sometimes your first day on set on a new job feels like the first day of school? Everything feels new and you kind of forget what you learned last time, and it takes you a minute to kind of catch up, get settled, and feel comfortable. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. This course will make each and every time you're on set so much easier. You will get the 3 must-haves, must-knows, and must-dos of life on set for the working actor. And each area will feature 3 tangible elements an actor must gain proficiency over. And we will utilize a combination of first-person experiences, some shared anecdotes, and some handouts for your education and knowledge. And we also conclude with some real-world examples from actors within our community to personalize these points. What you'll get is you'll get everything from what to bring with you to set, where to go on set, how to read contracts and call sheets, who the key players are that you must know on set, and how to make the most out of your day to extend your career. You'll get an ebook and a workbook. You'll get downloadables. There's real-world examples, a Q&A. And it's such a fun course, and I learn a lot from it even when I go back and review it. And then the third one to talk about today is the social media script. We all know that social media is becoming more important for actors these days. And this course, run by my co-founder, Allison Hazelden, teaches actors how to use social media to create opportunities for your career through content creation, through audience growth, online networking. The program contains strategy training, 100 plus templates and post prompts, and there's actually biannual updates. So you can stay up to date and you can continue building on your skills, which is pretty cool. So I know we've got a small, intimate group today, but I wanted to say thank you for trusting me with your time on a Friday afternoon. And as a thank you for being on this chat, we're going to offer a discount code for any of those courses for all of you guys. TMFA 15, all caps, TMFA 15, and you'll get 15% off those courses. They're all self-guided, fully virtual. They can be viewed at home, on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone, 10 a.m., 1 a.m., in your pajamas, in an Uber on the way to the airport, and you're going to have lifetime access to those courses. Now, there are a limited number of times that coupon code can be used before midnight tonight when it expires. And you can go to @BeyondActing on Instagram, click on the link on our bio, or you can hit any of the links that Allison has included in the chat, okay? And we're really appreciative of that. I have one more thing to talk about, Representation Sunday. But before we do that, I want to catch up on any of the questions I see right here. Awesome. Thanks, Allison. You're so great. Ooh, that's a good question. What percentage of union actors here have a manager? Levi, can you clarify that? Would you say here in this chat, or do you mean like here in the Atlanta market? Boom, boom, boom. What do you got? What do you think, Levi? I'll give you a second to respond back to that. Boom, boom, boom. So fun. Looking at the polls and looking at the comments. Levi, where are you, Levi? Rose, hi, Rose. No. I don't. Levi wasn't asking what percentage that they should take. It's what percentage have a manager. Is that your guess, Rose? It's not. It wasn't a commissions question. I'm going to go out on a limb, Levi, and I would say for the actors in Atlanta, perfect, there you are. For the actors in Atlanta who are union, I would say 25 to 30% of them will also have a manager, but that manager is not in the Southeast. They have representation outside the market. If an Atlanta actor has chosen to take that leap of faith and join the union, they believe that their body of work is strong enough to compete. I believe that they are now looking at opportunities outside the Southeastern market. They've already got a great agent here in the Southeast. They're getting them auditions. They're kicking butt. They're booking work. And now they're going, ooh, I want to look at New York. I want to look at Los Angeles. Now's the time for me to add a manager to the team because they're going to help me get opportunities in LA. So I would say about 25 to 35%. 60-second delay out in the boonies. Good. Yeah, I'm glad you got that. Okay, we're going to close with this. Representation Sunday. It is the first Sunday of the month here in TMFA where agents and managers, perfect transition since we're talking about managers, where agents and managers spend all day looking at our posts, seeking representation. And there are a few things that you actors can do to maximize your visibility, increase your efficiency, show that you can follow directions, which will all in turn increase the likelihood that an agent or manager is going to reach out to you. Okay? So, here are 4 bullet points that you can do on Representation Sunday. First off, do not submit every month into Representation Sunday. Space it out. It's better to be strategic and focused in your efforts rather than sling spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks. Number 2, use the hashtag Representation Sunday in the search function of this group and look at previous months. Look at other people's posts that have done well and generated interest. Are there common themes in their post? There are common themes. They follow directions. They include every link that is requested. They show whether they're union or non. They include where they are seeking representation and what kind of representation. They also check the links that they're including to make sure they work and they're not dead links. Hint, do not copy and paste. Point number 3, do not copy and paste from your browser, your Actors Access link, or your Casting Networks link. It will not work. In Actors Access, for example, you have to log in, you have to go to My Tools, and then scroll down to Custom Link. Then you copy that custom link and include that into your post. Number 4, check back several times during the day. If reps are interested in you, they'll reach out to you. Don't waste an opportunity by taking days to get back to them. Okay? Don't do it. Here's a 5th hint, a 5th bullet point. What I do, if I'm going to put together my Representation Sunday packet, I'm not going to go onto TMFA and write a post and put everything in that post. I'm going to open a Word document. I'm going to put everything in that Word document and save it. I'm going to check my links. I'm going to make sure, does it look okay? Is it formatted correctly? Is anything missing? No? Okay, then I'm going to take that information and copy and paste that into the post that we're going to write on Representation Sunday. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I wish all of you good luck the next time you choose to post for Representation Sunday. Carly, you're so welcome. Yes, right to work states, it's so confusing and there's so much to break down, and that confusion runs rampant across reps, casting, producers, actors, and there's a kind of a minefield to flow through, but we can do it together. We can help break down myths and falsehoods and get everybody on the right page. Sherry, there's nothing wrong with having no experience because, listen, I'm going to close our chat today with this. No matter where you are at in your career, day 1 or year 30, there are only 3 things as an actor that you can control. There's only 3 things. Your materials, your training, and your attitude. You always have control on whether or not you have the most professional headshots possible, that your resume is formatted correctly, there's no spelling mistakes, you're lining up your columns, you double check that it doesn't bleed onto a second page, your demo footage is great, your materials, your training, no matter where you are located in the world. COVID has taught us one thing. There are virtual training opportunities that exist all day, every day, no matter where you are in the world. And then your attitude. Your mindset is going to be the thing that makes or breaks you in this marathon pursuit as an actor. It's really, really, really the golden bullet for me. Because if you've got great materials and great training, but your mindset isn't strong, it's hard to survive. It really is hard to survive. All right, that's long enough. It's almost 6 o'clock. We're going to let everybody go and have a great weekend. This has been fun. I know it's not really a two-way conversation, but please know that I do see all your comments. I do see all your questions. I want to thank Allison, my partner in crime, for dropping the links for our courses. Don't forget, that expires at midnight tonight. Take advantage of TMFA 15 if you're interested. And if a question comes up to you later, come back to this thread, tag me, write a question, and we will chat and we will go through it and we will help get you to the next level. I really believe collaboration over competition and a rising tide lifts all boats. We are all in this together. This is not pie. There's not a finite amount of slices. We can all succeed in this, okay? You guys have a great weekend.